Udi. We are here in Mallorca at Build the Staff conference, and welcome to CodelyTV interview. And what are we doing here?
The Build Stuff conference is, well, this is the first time that they're doing it in Mallorca.
Okay.
I had spoken at Build Stuff previously in Lithuania a couple of years ago. It was so great, and when Narinda said, hey, we're doing it in Mallorca, I jumped at the opportunity.
Okay, and in your talk, you talk about maintenance versus development. And can you explain a little bit about it?
Right. So I think the best way to describe it is that in the industry, there's this division of labor, if you will, between the more senior software developers and architects that write the systems the first time under the premise that they will do a good job and make maintainable software that then more junior, less skilled, and most importantly, less expensive developers can then maintain it afterwards. But a lot of the experience has been that when you leave junior developers, not through any fault of their own, but without very much training or explanation on how to maintain a big complex code base in production, and where maintaining it often means adding features and fixing bugs. That's very hard work to do, and inevitably they end up creating a little bit of a mess, or a very big mess, as the case may be. And we need to accept the fact that maintaining big complex software means writing new features and fixing bugs, and that's hard to do and requires fairly skilled people. So if anything, we should have more of the skilled senior software developers involved just as much after the software project is delivered than when it was being written in the first place. And once you do that, then you recognize, well, there really isn't any explicit maintenance phase. It's all just software development.
Okay, and what about you talk about the student syndrome?
Right.
What is it?
So student syndrome is procrastinating until the last minute and then doing all the work under a huge amount of stress.
Okay.
And to some extent, that happens with most software projects that have a deadline, where in the first, I'd say, 30–40% of the project, people are like, okay, we can do this, we can handle it, we'll work the right way, but without any pressure. And then at some point in time, there's this realization of, oh my God, we're not going to make it, and then we move into sort of this frantic, do anything to get it done type of mode. The reason why that's problematic is then we write terrible code under that kind of high pressure, which then creates a big mess and then creates maintainability problems down the road.
And what the solution that you already talked about in order to face that situation?
Right. So part of it is the agile form of iterations and incremental delivery, but the important part being you actually deliver working software where it's dealing with a partial subset of the requirements. So the slide that I gave the example of is if somebody is asking for you to give them a light bulb, version 1 is a candle in a light socket. And then version 2 is kind of like the old form of incandescent light bulb. So you're constantly expanding on something that's already working, rather than kind of building up gradually towards the one thing that finishes everything. So long as you're periodically having to show your work and to deliver something real into production, that in essence, instead of having one big student syndrome, you kind of breaks it down into multiple smaller student syndromes, and that's how you reduce the risk.
What are you working on right now? I mean, I'm talking in other terms, not the talk.
Right.
But what do you do actually in nowadays?
So in real life, when I'm not giving talks, I lead the company behind NServiceBus. We deliver infrastructure that help developers build higher scale, highly availability, high reliability software. And a lot of that is actually very non-glorious work. It's fixing the edge case bugs. It means writing better documentation. It means having support conversations with end users. So sometimes there's this sense of, oh, okay, the speaker is really well known, he must have a very glamorous job. No, a lot of it is very day-to-day, just focusing on executing on the really simple things and to do them well and repeatedly, and to build an organization around me that can do those same things as well.
How many people are you?
We're 45 people now.
45 people. Whoa.
Yeah. We've gotten to a significant size organization. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your time. We really appreciate that little interview. And please have your break out of the other guest.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.